the Epstein case?
I would say Israel, obviously. And again, I'm so tired of us being gaslit. It's the dumbest gaslighting of all time. On record, okay, when Pam Bondi said, I can't even, this was just a moment where I was like, okay, like, F you, you guys hate us. Like, you don't even, you have so much power. Why don't you just come out and say, na boo boo, you can't touch us, F you. I would rather you do that, right?
Yes.
Than put on this pretense of a conference, and then you've got Trump over here being like, does anybody still care about Jeffrey Epstein? And then Pam Bondi is asked the question, was he working for another country? And she says, we don't know, right? You don't know? So in my series, I'm like, maybe we can help them. Maybe we can help the deep state figure out who Jeffrey Epstein was working for. Here is Ari Ben-Menashe, who was a Mossad agent, who is on record, literally recorded. Let's listen to him tell us about how Jeffrey Epstein was working for the Mossad. Okay, Ari Ben-Menashe worked for Mossad, and he's saying that Robert Maxwell brought him to Jeffrey Epstein and said, let this guy in. He's going to be involved in weapons. Hey, Pam Bondi, you might have missed this one. Okay, you might have missed this one. Then you go to another person who is on record, who is Victor Ostrovsky, who defected from the Mossad notoriously. The Mossad admits he worked for the Mossad. He wrote a book, By Deception or By Deception Only. He says that's the Mossad motto, which they obviously do that. That's why they execute all these false flags. And he told everybody the truth. He has said Jeffrey Epstein was working with us. So for whatever reason, Candace Owens is able to determine whether or not Jeffrey Epstein might have been working for another state. But Pam Bondi, they're just going to have to keep surmising about whether or not Jeffrey Epstein, seriously, that would feel better at this point if they just came out and said, F you, na boo boo, you can't touch us, we rule over you, haha. That would feel at least authentic. Going back to the Taylor Lorenz thing, I'd be like, I really don't like that, but at least it's authentic and I know you mean it and it's true.
Your time is running out, you people. Randy Fine is an artifact of years gone by when you could speak about, because they're Muslims, and some of your viewers may not like this, I'm sorry, but because pretty much every American president has proven their toughness credentials by murdering a few of them. I mean, a few million. Pretty much every American president comes into office, wants to let people know they're serious, kills a few million Muslims, over and over and over again. Is it any wonder that some of them have the opinions about America that they do?
But why are they chanting death to America? Because we're killing them? We're responsible for death with our weapons and our funding?
For decades, we've been murdering them like it's nothing, and treating them like subhumans, like people who don't have, and frankly, I'm sorry, Muslims and Jews, both people of the book, if we have a relationship as Christians with any other faith, we have it as much with Muslims as we do with Jews. Frankly, some of their morality and some of their prescriptions about daily life have a lot more in common with a traditional Catholic than any Jewish teaching I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And yet we treat these people as though they are animals in foreign countries to be exterminated when it suits us financially or in any other way, to then protect a foreign country, not ours, and its logos and its supporters from reasonable outraged responses by fellow students in this case, with the language, the elevated language of statehood. Thank you for your leadership. It's disgusting, but I can't help but think they got 10 years of this left. And then it's over.
I think it's less than 10 years.
Hopefully.
I actually think that's why they're speeding everything up right now, because they recognize that nobody's falling for this anymore.
Ramping up.
The West, especially America, has done things around the world that they should be called out for it. They go around invading countries. They go around taking out governments in different countries all over the world. And they turn around and complain about migration. If you go out there and take down governments, what do you think the outcome of that is going to be? What do you think is going to be? When you go to the Middle East and topple governments, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to be? When you go to the Middle East and topple governments, what do you think is going to happen? 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 What do you think is what do you think the outcome is going to be? If Africans are migrating to Europe, are using the transatlantic migration route to Europe, should Africans be blamed for that? Or if people from the Middle East are migrating to Europe, should they be blamed for that? Can we really, in all honesty, say that the West, Europe, and America have not played a part in this migration crisis? The West cannot pretend that they are not responsible for all this. You know, if there's one set of people, like I said before, who are so dishonest, those are politicians. They lie to you about every single thing. Like the guest in this video said, from Bush to Obama to Biden to Trump, have all, from time to time, destabilized governments all over the world. Obama himself was the architect behind the whole crisis in Syria and also Yemen. He was the one who was setting all these places on fire. Bush was the one who did Iraq and Afghanistan. Biden was there when Gaza all started. And what did they do to resolve all these issues? Nothing. Nothing at all. But they will be the very people to come out and start saying that they want universal peace, they want prosperity, and they want everybody to live happily in their home countries. They will be the one to say all those things. And then they will turn around and still be the very same people who fund chaos and destabilization and wars in those same countries they are saying they want them to live in peace. We don't want migrants in our countries. We don't want people just migrating into our countries and setting in a lot of confusion. If you don't want migration, don't invade other countries. If you don't want people to migrate to your countries, stop invading their own countries. Stop putting in place puppet government in their countries. Stop setting in chaos in their countries. If you just let those people be in their own countries and take care of their own issues, they will not feel the need to migrate into your countries. But if you guys keep on being the world police, if you guys keep on invading other countries, if you guys keep on telling other governments how to control and manage their own countries and their people, then of course, migration crisis will never end. That is just the bitter truth. And I know most people will be like, so are you blaming the West for the issues facing Africa? Which I would say, yes, of course, I am blaming them. I am blaming the West for the issues Africa is facing. Not entirely, but they are partly to be blamed for those issues. Have you seen how the IMF and the World Bank squeeze Africa? They give us loan at a very high interest rate. And before we even pay the loan to the end, they have injected themselves into our domestic politics. They now control everything we do indirectly. We cannot do this, we cannot do that, we can only do this, we can only do that. We cannot manufacture, we must import. We can only export raw minerals and import finished products. We are going to give you some aid or some loans or some, money to put in your pockets and be able to run your government on one condition, that you do not set up any manufacturing plant in your country. All you can do is export raw minerals to the countries that we will tell you to export to, and in return, import finished products from those same countries that we will approve of. That's what they do. That is exactly what they do. So no one should be crying about the migration crisis. No one should be crying about it until you guys remove your hands from Africa. The migration crisis won't end. People won't stay in the continent and die. They will rather die in the Atlantic Ocean. It's sad, I know. It's not something that I will encourage, I know. Nevertheless, if that's what you guys want, that is exactly what you guys will get.